Hi everyone, welcome to today's presentation, Inbound Marketing, how to turn content into a consistent flow of new prospects and customers that prefer your products and services. We're going to get started here in just another minute or two. We've still got a lot of people coming onto the presentation, so we're going to let them get settled in. In the meantime, if you have any last minute conversations or need to run and get a drink or anything like that, now's a great time to do so, and we'll get started here in just another couple minutes. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Again, welcome to today's presentation. We'll get started here in just one more minute. Thank you. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and get going. Again, today's presentation is on inbound marketing, how you can use content to create a consistent flow of new prospects and customers to your business. And I appreciate you joining me here today. We've probably got about 40 minutes or so in this presentation. We're going to try and keep things moving along and get you back to your day. I know you're all very busy. Just a few logistics here. One, I will be recording this, and I'll get a copy of the recording out to you here, hopefully in about 24 or 48 hours or so, okay? Next, if you have any questions, there is a box below this presentation you should see there that you can type your questions into, and I will get those during the presentation. I will do my best to answer as many as I can at the end of the presentation. Time allowing, but anything that I don't get to, my team or I will follow up with you individually here in the next day or so to make sure we answer your questions as best as we can. And then finally, if you look down on the lower right hand here of the presentation, if you hover your mouse over it, you should see a little box that pops up in this area, I believe. If you click on that, that will allow you to expand the presentation into full screen mode. That might make it a little bit easier for you to view the presentation. And then at any time you can hit the escape key and it will bring you back to this normal view where you can type in your questions. Okay, so thanks again for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's agenda, we're going to cover just a quick definition or explanation of what is inbound marketing exactly. Next, we'll talk about why inbound marketing has become so popular with successful marketers, the bottom line business benefits of inbound marketing, 7 smart ways to use inbound marketing to attract new customers at your business, and then general guidelines for creating inbound content that rocks. Let's go ahead and get started here with Act 1. What is inbound marketing? This is a term you may have heard, inbound marketing, and you may even be very familiar with it. It's been quite the buzzword, I would say, in the marketing and business community here over the last couple of years. So it is a word or a phrase that I guess has become much more common. And essentially it refers to using content as a means of attracting people to your business instead of doing more traditional, what we call push marketing, where you are pushing your message out to the audience and pushing your branding and pushing your products on them. And this has become really a preferred means of marketing for a number of reasons, which we'll get into this presentation. But most importantly, is that you are delivering helpful content. You're delivering helpful content that is aligned to your ideal prospect or customer's interests. And this organically attracts them to you and keeps them coming back to you. And in doing so, you are positioning yourself or your business as an expert, as a resource, as somebody that can be trusted, somebody that's helpful. And obviously, there's all kinds of good benefits to that. If you look at this graphic here from a company called HubSpot, and HubSpot is definitely one of the pioneers of this concept of inbound marketing. They show you this funnel here, if you will, represents a sales and marketing funnel where you get people who come and visit your website, or it doesn't necessarily have to be your website. It could be your store. It could be any other way of reaching you. It could be picking up the phone and giving you a call. But over time, hopefully we turn these visitors into paying customers. And the way we do that is over here on the right, you're converting those visitors into leads and customers through your sales process. But up here, this is really what we're talking about with inbound marketing. This is how you get found in the first place. Okay, how you get found in the first place. And inbound marketing refers to creating, as you can see here, publishing, optimizing, and promoting content to get found. And we're going to show you some specific examples here in just a bit. Act 2, why inbound marketing has become so popular with successful marketers. Well, there's a handful of reasons here, and conveniently, we've got them all beginning with P to make them very memorable for you. Okay, the first one is positioning. By creating helpful, authoritative content where you share your ideas with the world, you share your best practices, you share your knowledge, or even just in entertaining people with your content, you build credibility and authority, and you build trust. People see you and your business as a resource, as an expert that they can trust. And in today's day and age where we are fighting for the attention of customers, and customers are being bombarded with thousands of marketing messages every day, having trust associated with your brand is a very powerful thing. So one of the biggest benefits is just that positioning that you and your business can achieve as an expert, trusted resource with your prospects. Next is permission. As I said, with inbound marketing, what you're doing is you're putting content out there to attract people. So people are self-selecting to come to you and say, yeah, I want your content. I would like to read your book. I would like to watch your series of videos. I would like to read your white paper, whatever it is, whatever form of content it is. You are getting people's permission to communicate with them by giving them that content. And you may have heard the phrase permission marketing, which is another buzzword here over the last 10 or dozen or so years. It's been very popular. And again, essentially it's this idea of people are being bombarded with so many marketing messages that really they feel that those messages are constantly being forced on them, and there's a whole different relationship that you have with that prospect when you get them to say, you know what, I would actually like to hear from you. I give you permission to give me that content and stay in touch with me with future content. So key to the concept of inbound marketing is getting people's permission to communicate to them and eventually to sell to them, right? Because ultimately that's what this is all about. Obviously, we're not doing this just to entertain and educate people. We're doing this to eventually move them into being a customer, to actually buy something from us. But when you have those first two P's, when you have the positioning of somebody that's a trusted resource, and you have the permission to communicate with them, you combine those two things together, and you almost can't help but get more sales. Right? By combining those two things together, you've pretty much put yourself in the perfect situation to sell something to somebody. and do it in a way that oftentimes does not feel like a hard sales pitch. And there's a saying out there that people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy. And that's an important concept in inbound marketing, that you are getting people to enjoy buying from you rather than feel like they are being sold to. And there is a very important difference there. Next is proliferation. We all obviously want to get our business brand out there to more and more people. We want to get our products and services to be more known in our prospects' communities, right? So the great thing about creating content is that it can easily be shared. And when you create really good content, whether that's really good content because it's educational, or it's really good content because it has some profound new idea, or because it's simply just entertaining, people will pass that content around to other people that they think would be interested. I mean, we've all experienced this, right? In today's world of social media, how easy it is to have somebody forward you along a video, an email, or share with you a video on Facebook, or send you along an ebook that they've read. It's very, very easy to share information. So good information, good content gets shared with other people, getting your brand exposure up, oftentimes in dramatic numbers. And then the final P here is partnership. As you can imagine, if a business was looking for another business to partner with to help them elevate their brand or introduce new products and services to their customers, having a partner in the marketplace that they can turn to that demonstrates expertise in the way that they create content and has that successful positioning from the great content that they've already created makes for an ideal partnership, rather than partnering with somebody that's just going to aggressively sell. So having good content out in the marketplace opens up the door for partnership opportunities. And just as it attracts new prospects and customers coming to you, it will attract new partnerships that can open the door for new opportunities for your business. So that's the last of the P's. Just to recap, they were positioning, permission, persuasion, proliferation, and partnerships. That's 5 very important P's, very important benefits to inbound marketing. All right, Act 3, let's get into the bottom line business benefits of inbound marketing. All right, because again, we aren't doing this just for fun. We're not doing this just to educate or entertain people. We're doing this because we want to see the bottom line benefits. We want to turn our inbound marketing activities into increased sales. Well, the good news is there are lots of very, very tangible, measurable business benefits to inbound marketing. First being that wider brand reach, having that great content being shared to other prospects without you even knowing about it, without you having to work. It can pretty effortlessly grow your brand exposure. Expert positioning, again, putting yourself in that authoritative position, somebody with ideas, somebody with expertise. Attracting business, more referrals, and ultimately more fun. I mean, this is one of the things that really excites people about the concept of inbound marketing. A lot of marketers and a lot of business owners don't like to feel like they're doing aggressive selling. For a lot of people, aggressive selling feels a little bit dirty, and they would rather have a way of marketing their products and services and marketing their business that feels helpful. It feels good, and in doing so, it's more fun as a marketer, more fun as a business owner to get the word out about your business by doing it as inbound marketing. All right, Act 4, 7 smart ways you can use inbound marketing to attract new customers. We're going to get into specific examples here and specific strategies as to how you can use inbound marketing at your business. Depending on the nature of your business, not all of them perhaps will apply, but I bet you at least 3 or 4 of the 7 can be used at everybody's business here on this call. All right, the first one is infographics. You've probably seen a lot of these here over the last couple of years. Facebook and Pinterest have caused, I think, an explosion of the use of infographics because they're such visual media. And we are very visual creatures. Our brains like to process things visually and process images, and some of us more so than others, right? Some of us, more auditory in nature, kinesthetic in nature, but we all have this component of this, visual processing that happens in our brains. And you can see the power of these types of graphics in inbound marketing when you see them used in a social media environment. Because statistically, information that gets created and shared with images associated with it will attract many more shares and many more likes in a social media environment. And on average, will enjoy 12% more traffic than a social media post that does not include some sort of graphic. So images are powerful, and using infographics at your business can be a very powerful choice of image because you can combine not just the visual nature, but data and storytelling into the graphic as well. And it's easier than you think. I think a lot of people, when you see an infographic like this, you think, well, geez, I could never do that. I'm not a graphic designer. And I myself would be intimidated the first time I tried to put something like this together. But it's a lot easier than you think. All you really need is PowerPoint. You can get PowerPoint templates out there now and just use the kind of native shapes and colors and text boxes and things like that inside of PowerPoint to put together some pretty nice looking infographics. Now, are they going to be as nice as the best designer out there can create? No. But we're not necessarily striving for perfection here. We're striving for getting good quality content out the door. And the nice thing is your competitors don't know that it can be this easy. And so oftentimes they just will throw up their hands and give up before they even really give it a shot. So you have an opportunity to really stand out in the marketplace. Another great resource for getting infographics done is just Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. Fiverr is a very inexpensive outsourcing community where you can get just about anything done imaginable for $5 to $10 or so. So check it out over there. You can find somebody to create infographics for you on the cheap as well. Some best practices here. One, brainstorm the narrative first, right? You want to tell some sort of story in your infographic typically. And so just understanding the narrative, the flow of what you're trying to communicate before you jump into actually putting images on a slide will make it much easier to organize your thoughts and come up with a good graphical representation of the data that you're trying to present. Make it useful. Include good, helpful statistics that your market will find useful. And it doesn't have to be statistics. It can just be storytelling. It can be examples. It can be best practices, things like that. But statistics are certainly proven to do a real nice job in infographics at creating engagement. You can find data using Google. Super easy. Just get in the search engines and search for data in just about any market possible, and you're going to find what you're looking for. And then again, consider hiring that cheap designer. If you get on Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, you can find, and just type in there infographics. You'll find all kinds of resources that can design infographics for you. Tactic number 2 here, webinars and live presentations. Webinar is what you're on today, right? This is a form of inbound marketing. We attracted you to this presentation so that you could learn something helpful to marketing your business. Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be a webinar. It can be, various forms of live presentations. And, nice thing is those different forms of live presentations cater to different learning styles. and give you the opportunity to really show your personality and give you the opportunity to explain complex concepts in a way that can be pretty hard to do in other forms of media, right? In a webinar like this, we can get pretty deeply into a topic, whereas in a small white paper, it may be a little bit harder to communicate certain concepts. So it can be a fantastic way of attracting prospects and educating them and demonstrating your expertise. Here are a handful of examples of ways that you can use live presentations. So, what you're watching right now, again, is just a webinar, right? And it's a form of live presentation. Lunch and Learns. Lunch and Learns are wildly effective in your local communities. We've used Lunch and Learns to grow our business many, many, many times. And again, it can be a topic just like the one you're watching now, but it's given in a live in-person environment where maybe you get 20 to 25 prospects or customers into a room. And by having them in the room with you, you're increasing the level of engagement. You're giving them an opportunity for FaceTime with you and more back and forth conversation. And you're also giving them an opportunity to connect with each other, which can be another very powerful way of establishing yourself and your business as a resource and as a trusted authority. And then finally, speeches, of course. Getting up on stage and giving a speech is still probably the single best way to establish your authority quickly, demonstrate your knowledge and expertise, and get exposure to a large amount of very, very targeted prospects and customers in one shot. By going and speaking at trade shows and things like that, you can get up in front of 500, 1,000, or depending on your industry, even more people at one time, and really share your knowledge and your expertise and establish that authority. So I know many people are not comfortable with speaking, are not comfortable with being up on stage, so maybe you start with the webinars on the left and kind of work your way over time to the speeches on the right. But ideally, if you can do a mix of these types of live presentations, then you're in great shape. Oh, excuse me there. All right, best practices for holding these live events. One, have a promotion plan for them. Creating great content isn't enough. You need to have a promotion plan to get that content out to the world, make it visible so that people even know it exists. Oftentimes in giving presentations like this, finding a co-host is a great way to alleviate some of the pressure. Again, if you are feeling a little bit of pressure of creating and presenting content on your own, or if you want to do real regular presentations, having a co-host is a great way to bring in an additional authority, an additional personality, and kind of mix things up. And you can have a new co-host, every time you do a webinar or an interview or something like that. You can bring in somebody else to, again, keep that fresh. Obviously, practicing the delivery, particularly if you are a little bit uncomfortable with live presentations. Record and reuse the presentation. So this presentation is an example. We're recording this right now, and we can then replay that presentation. We can turn it into a transcript. We can have it transcribed and use the written content as articles or white papers, things like that. So there's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice that content if you record it. All right. Let's move on to, I got our transitions goofed up here. Sorry about that. Tactic number 3, blogging and article marketing. Blogging, I'm sure everybody is familiar with blogging at this point. Article marketing is very similar to blogging, with the exception of maybe your articles would not appear on your site. So article marketing would be more of getting your article content, getting your written content out onto other sites so that you are kind of borrowing their exposure and borrowing their brand credibility. So if you look at major sites like, Huffington Post or something like that, these huge high traffic sites, most of the articles written on those sites are not written by Huffington Post. They're written by guest contributors who want the exposure that Huffington Post can give them. So that would be a form of article marketing. It's very, very powerful, blogging and article marketing, because it is a fantastic form, again, of attracting new visitors. In fact, according to HubSpot, businesses that blog have 55% more website visitors to their business website. So very, very powerful. Just by creating that content on a regular basis, you're getting 55% more people to your website than you otherwise would. Now, I think for most businesses, the challenge is just getting that content created on a regular basis. I know a lot of people struggle with that, and we'll share with you some best practices for doing so. But here's an example that I found was amazing that just demonstrates the power of doing article marketing and doing blogging and the revenue that can be generated from doing so. This is an example of a pool installation company that reported earning nearly $2 million from one article alone. So just by putting up one helpful article and getting that article out there into the world, $2 million in contracts. So not every business certainly is going to get those kinds of results from one article being published, but it shows the potential that is out there. Some best practices for you. So one, when it comes to creating the content, don't necessarily feel like you have to do all of that yourself. You can get employees and guest bloggers to contribute to your blog. Not only does it not always have to be you, but it probably shouldn't always be just one person. Getting a variety of writing styles and opinions and thoughts is a great way to keep your blog and your articles more interesting. So get some outside contributors. You can also hire writers, again, on sites like Fiverr.com or Elance.com to write articles for you very cheaply. There's lots and lots of writers out there that will write articles on an outsourced basis for you. Whatever you do, you want to get content out there consistently. That's one of the real keys in terms of getting the most out of this practice, is doing it real consistently. The search engines love to see consistent creation of content, and your prospects and customers love to see consistent creation of content as well. And then once you do create that content, you want to promote it using social media, emails, everything that you have available to you in terms of channels to get that content out there and visible to the world. All right, tactic number 4 is social media. Social media obviously has been just a massive, massive business development here over the last 10 years. Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Google+, LinkedIn, all kinds of amazing technologies that just a handful of years ago were barely even a part of our lives or not a part of our lives at all, and now we probably all know somebody who practically lives on at least one of these social media networks, most likely Twitter and Facebook. As you can see here, the statistics on Twitter and Facebook are just off the charts in terms of the people that are using them. And then you can see more of the secondary networks there, LinkedIn, Flickr, Tumblr, Blogger down below. And then how often do small businesses post on social networks? You can see 62% post 8+ times a week, 24% 1 to 7, and 14% less than once a week. So businesses are active on social media in general, which is fantastic. If you aren't, or you are looking for some additional strategies, we're going to share with you a couple here today. So first one is to just aggregate existing content. So I think a lot of people struggle with, well, what do I post? Well, you don't have to create each and every social media post that you put up on your site. Finding helpful content or just good content from other sources and acting as an aggregator of that content and sharing that content through your social media sites gets you just as many points as creating your own content from scratch. And it's obviously much, much, much easier to do. So just aggregate existing content. Find content out there from other sources that you found helpful or useful and share that content through your social media site. Piggyback off of existing audiences. What I mean by that is that you can go and find other businesses that have aggregated your ideal audience, and you can draw them over to your social media sites by engaging in those communities and letting them know that you're around and that you have your own place that they might want to check out. So, as an example, let's say that I was a fitness trainer and I was trying to find health-minded people in my local community. Well, I could go and try and aggregate that audience all on myself, or I could go to the social media sites of Whole Foods, which is a huge, it has a huge social media presence and a very active one, and I could go over to that social media site and I can put my own content in there as comments on their Facebook posts. I can share recipes and things like that with people and tell them, hey, here are some of my favorite recipes from the foods I get at Whole Foods, and use those as ways of drawing people back to my social media presence and attracting them over to pay attention to me as well. So you can piggyback off of those existing audiences rather than just trying to create one of your own. And you can do that, in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is. They all have ways that you can do that. And then finally, share your content in multiple social networks. You don't want to limit yourself to just one. As you can see here, Twitter and Facebook are both enormous, but especially in the business community, LinkedIn is huge as well. And they all kind of have different personalities, and people use them for different purposes. And by sharing your content on multiple social networks, you have the opportunity to reach people in different ways and at different times. Okay, let's see here. Some examples. LinkedIn groups, there on the left-hand side. LinkedIn groups are very, very powerful business-to-business communities on LinkedIn. You can join, I believe, 50 groups at a time. So you can find groups that are specific to your industry or area of interest and get in there and get active in those groups to raise your visibility. You can also create and manage your own groups, which I highly, highly recommend. If you have a business where it makes sense to do that on LinkedIn, you can get some really, really big benefits from doing so. Quora there in the middle. Quora is much less known than LinkedIn or Pinterest here, but Quora is a pretty popular site in certain communities, definitely in Silicon Valley, where it's kind of a Q&A site where you can ask questions and get them answered by experts. So you can go in there and be an expert in Quora and provide answers on certain topics to people, again, to increase your visibility and establish yourself as an expert in a given area. And then Pinterest. Pinterest is the most visual of all the social media sites, incredibly powerful and addicting for people who use it. And you can find images, create infographics, things like that, and share them on Pinterest. You can get a massive flood of traffic from doing so. All right, let's see here. Best practices: be genuine when helping others. You don't want to come across as somebody who's doing hard selling on social media sites. People get turned off by that pretty darn quickly. So just help people. Just be genuine again. Share what you have, and you will see the benefits of doing so. Just like any other social network, offline in your communities, when you help people in your communities, people appreciate that, and you get benefits from doing so. It's the same thing on the online social media networks. Be positive and generous, and offer tremendous value without expecting any return, but you will get that return, I promise you. Tactic number 5, video marketing. Video marketing is growing at incredible rates and incredibly consistently, and it is very, very powerful from a marketing perspective. You can see here on this graph, video accounts for half of ever-growing internet traffic. It really is just amazing how much video has become one of the main ways that we consume information and entertainment now. And and the business benefits of it are tremendous. As you can see here, people who watch a video about a product are 85% more likely to purchase the product. So if you have a product that it makes sense to demonstrate or educate in the form of video, it can be super, super powerful. I was in a Home Depot recently and went to buy a ladder, and there's all these choices of ladders, and I noticed that one of the ladders had a little link on the box of the ladder to show me a YouTube demonstration video, and I went and checked that out on my phone, and that was absolutely what pushed me over the edge to buy that ladder versus all the other ladders, because I could see it clearly demonstrated. Using video, you have a 50 times better chance of ranking on page 1 of the search engines. Okay, Google in particular loves video. That's why they bought YouTube. So if you can create and share good video that people are engaging with, you are much more likely to be ranked highly in the search engines. Now, the amazing thing is that even given all of the power of using video, only 22% of small businesses will use video in the next 12 months. So you have a massive opportunity to take advantage of video at your business and really stand out from the crowd. Some best practices regarding video, very, very powerful if you can create educational or how-to videos. One of the nice things about creating educational or how-to videos is you don't have to feel the pressure to be like some Hollywood entertainer. You can just demonstrate your products, demonstrate your services, and provide good education. Those are the things that you know best, and they do very well in establishing trust and credibility and drawing people to your business. Next is entertainment. I mean, if you have the ability to create entertaining video, if you're more of a creative type and you're able to do that, then you can get amazing benefits from doing so. I mean, we've all seen videos here over the last year that, because of their entertainment value, have been passed around virally like crazy on the social media sites. And if you think about like the Super Bowl ads each year, and the ones that really stand out are the ones that tend to just be the most entertaining ones, and so they really go all out and trying to make them entertaining. So if you have that creative side to you, or you can afford to hire an agency that can help you create that type of content, then all the better. Either way, you want to show your personality on video. You want to get comfortable enough in front of the camera that you can show people that you're human, that you've got personality. You don't want to be stiff on the camera. So get comfortable. Create a lot of video over a short period of time. Just have a camera in front of your face on a regular basis so that you get comfortable with it and really can let that personality show through. Some more best practices: focus on the content, not on the production value. These videos do not have to be Hollywood productions, okay? And trying to make them Hollywood productions is what keeps a lot of people from creating video. It is perfectly acceptable to create amateur quality video that can really still do great things for your business. And the nice thing is, just grabbing an iPhone nowadays or any other phone with a camera on it, you can create such high quality images that you really don't have to worry about doing too much in terms of production value. If you're going to focus on anything, sound and lighting are the most important things. So just invest in a good microphone, invest in good lights. Those are the most important things. Keep the video short and to the point, right? Average time of a video being viewed online is somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes. So keep them brief. If you have more content to create, then break it up into a series of videos. And then add what's called metadata when you're uploading your videos to sites like YouTube to share them. And what we mean by that is just have a good quality description or title for the video, and use tags to let people know what kind of topics you're covering. So how does vision therapy work? Vision therapy is clearly something that this person is targeting. Down here, they would make sure and mention vision therapy and maybe corrective eye procedures, whatever language is being used that people search on to help people find this video. All right, moving on to tactic number 6. Tactic number 6 is podcasting. Podcasting is, if you're not familiar, podcasting is essentially an audio recording that is available for distribution through, iTunes, on Apple products, but similar distribution on other formats and networks as well, depending on the types of device and systems that you're using. If you're on Microsoft or you're on Apple products or whatever, but essentially it's just doing an audio recording and putting that audio recording up on one of these networks for distribution to people who subscribe to your channel. They can subscribe to your channel, and every time you record a new piece of audio, it will be distributed to them. So the audience for podcasting has been absolutely just booming as people have been getting more and more smartphones and more mobile devices. This is a nice way for them to consume information. The great thing for you is it's an easier way for a lot of people to create content than video. Again, a lot of people get hung up on being seen on camera. In this case, you can just record the audio into a microphone and distribute it. You don't have to be seen on camera. Some examples, there's good tutorial or how-to podcasts. This is the Top Marketing Strategist podcast on the left. Apple and Apps podcast, which is interviews from developers of software and products for the Apple environment. And it's a popular one with Apple geeks. And then on the right-hand side, there is an example. You just do Q&A related to your products and services, or kind of timely topics in your industry that would be interesting for your customers. It's a great way of, again, demonstrating your expertise and engaging with your audience. Best practices, again, keep them short and fun, be consistent, stick to a schedule in terms of creating these. Again, add metadata when you upload them. This helps in SEO just like it does in video. And then once you've created these, promote them via your website, email, social media. Again, it's up to you to get the word out at first. Once you get enough of an audience on those podcasting channels, then they will get promoted by the actual, podcast network. But up until then, it's up to you. All right, tactic number 7, publishing a shook. That's what we call a short book. A book still provides instant credibility. People still see authors as experts, and it's one of the fastest, easiest ways to establish that credibility in the marketplace. And it has never been easier to create a book. There are so many, means of printing and distributing your books now, or doing them as ebooks, that there's really no excuse not to have a book nowadays. I mean, if you've got ideas to share or stories to share, it is very, very simple to publish your book. You don't have to go through a big publishing house. You don't have to have somebody, approve your book, one of a million that get approved. You can just publish your book and get it out there, but it still has that amazing boost in credibility that it provides immediately when somebody sees that you are a published author. And you can do short ones, right? It's why we call them shooks. Just because it's short doesn't mean it's lacking in great content. Okay, a lot of books are published longer than they really need to be, just because the publisher knows that if they don't create a book that's big enough, then they're going to have a hard time selling it at the price point that they want to. So you may not have to worry about what price point it sells at. I mean, you may sell these books for $1 or $2 or $3 just to get distribution and get them out into as many in the hands of as many people as possible, or you may just give them away as free for free as marketing pieces. Excuse me. Whatever you do, get it professionally designed and printed. The look and feel of the book still matters. Make it scannable. By that, I mean break it up into easily identifiable chapters and headlines so that people can easily digest the main points of the content, because unfortunately the reality is today most people will not read books cover to cover. So make it easily scannable. Use compelling imagery. And if you have a hard time writing that much content or taking the time to do it, hire a ghostwriter. There's lots of them out there that will write your book for you. Pro tip here, when you're using these as marketing pieces, add a personalized handwritten note. When you give the book to somebody, it can mean a lot of difference, just in that personal touch that people perceive, again, from an expert, from an author. It can be a really nice gift. Okay, tactic number 8 is monthly e-newsletters. E-newsletters are a fantastic, easy, affordable way of keeping in touch with your prospects and customers. I'm a big believer that every business should be using a newsletter, and an e-newsletter in particular. Sending it via email is as easy and inexpensive as it gets. And you can see here some of the stats. $1 spent on email marketing turns into $40 in revenue on average. And 77% of small business owners report email helps them increase revenue. It absolutely works. It's a fantastic way of engaging with your marketplace and keeping in touch with them, and it's inexpensive and easy to do. Real good example here, kayak.com. I love their newsletter. Kayak.com is a travel site. You can go in there and book your hotels and airlines and things like that, or it's actually really for searching for travel, and then they connect you with the places to book. But they have a great newsletter that gets you excited about the idea of traveling. They're not just, shoving their promotional options down your throat. They really are just getting you excited about the places that you could go and the history of them and the neat things that you can do there. It's a blast to read. So, best practices: don't be boring. Be entertaining. Show some personality. Reward people for signing up. So when they sign up, there may be something interesting that you can give to them as a gift to thank them, give them that incentive for signing up. Include offers in your newsletter. Again, this is not content just for entertainment value and just for education. You always want to include some sort of offer to drive people to your products and services as well. And send on Sundays. It's something we found people have downtime on Sundays, and they'll oftentimes read what comes in their inbox then. You can see here, this is just an example of a newsletter. It's presented by MailChimp. You can see it's an email marketing company, but they've included this little monkey in there, their logo. They're having fun with it. It's a very helpful newsletter, and it's fun to read at the same time. All right, Act 5, general guidelines for creating inbound content that rocks. No matter what kind of strategy or tactic it is that you're pursuing, which of the ones that we went through, these are helpful tips. 1, play to your strengths. You may be better just recording audio than you are in video. That's fine. Take advantage of podcasts, okay? No matter what you do, show your personality. Be real. Let people know that you're human. People want to connect with other people. Survey to find out what people want. Survey your community and find out what kind of content would be most helpful and valuable to them. Develop an editorial calendar. What I mean by that is put something on your calendar each week that you're going to create content about. Put a topic each week that you're going to create content about and stick to that calendar. Just having a plan in place like that makes it so much easier. And then finally, start simple if you need to. You don't always have to create your own content. You can aggregate other people's content and still make for a very, very valuable resource for people. All right, take action and reap the rewards. Inbound marketing, as we said, lots and lots of benefits. Wider brand reach, better positioning. You're going to attract business instead of going out there and pushing your products and services hard. This leads to more referrals and ultimately happy customers. So inbound marketing is something that every business should be investing in, and every business can see a tremendous amount of benefit from. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate your time on this presentation for being here with me today. I do want to let you know that this is what we help businesses do. We help them market their products and services and get more brand awareness in the marketplace. If you'd like to explore some of these concepts more or talk about how these concepts could be put to use at your business, we'd love to have a little brainstorming session with you. We promise it won't be a hard sales pitch. But if you're interested, we'd love to have that conversation. You can see all around this presentation is our contact information. So please do get in touch. And I'm going to get back to each of you individually to answer questions today because I am a bit past my time and I want to make sure that we stick to our schedule and get you guys back to work. So if you submitted a question, I will get back to you individually. And again, I want to thank you for your time and also encourage you to reach out and get in touch with us if you'd like to discuss how we can put an inbound marketing strategy to work for your business. Okay, thank you very much and take care.